glad that you decided to come back to another session about men's health. Today we're going to be talking about this just wonderful subject that is so broad and vast. It's called metabolic syndrome. And the funny thing about it is 1 in 3 Americans are overweight. Can you believe that? That means that the person to your left and the person to your right, one of the 3 of you is overweight. Is that shocking? Well, the funny thing about it is that the American population is anywhere between 25 and 34% of the population has metabolic syndrome. Let's take a look at Europe for just a second. European is 12 to 26, which means 1 in 4. Asian population, 1 in 3 is the higher end, but the majority of them are on the lower end. So why is that? Well, let's take a look at this lifestyle. Have you ever been to Europe? You ever been to Asia? I have. And when I was there, I was just amazed. You had to walk everywhere. It did have public transportation, but you had to walk to the public transportation. You had to stand there on the public transportation, and then you had to get off and go wherever you wanted. It was convenient. It worked. You wore a backpack, which created extra weight on your body so that you could carry all your stuff with you and have picnics and bottles of wine and cheese and just have a really good time. So, what's the problem here in America? Well, the role models that we have are poor. Superman doesn't give you a TV show where he talks about what his weightlifting and his exercise program is, or what he eats, or how does he engage in meditation and reducing his stress. Batman doesn't do that. Wonder Woman doesn't do that. So where do we learn it? Well, we learn it from the closest role models we have. Our parents, our relatives, our primary caregivers. And those are the individuals that took care of us in primary school and first grade, second grade, all the way up to whenever we dropped out. So understand that we as Americans have never had a class, never had anybody talk to us about how to go to sleep. And some of us have sleeping problems. And that's part of the reason this metabolic syndrome actually occurs. Then, wait a minute. How do we, has anybody ever taken a course in stress reduction? I'm kind of a big proponent that you should have your grandchildren first, because that way, your stress is a lot less. They're a lot more enjoyable than those real kids. So the idea is that we have not been taught how to exercise. I remember being in elementary school, and while I was in elementary school, I got this award for some kind of fitness thing, and I never thought another day about it. And then I went back and saw one of the teachers at the elementary school when I was probably 4 or 5 years later, and they said, "Hey, did you ever do this, this, and this?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Well, you had that and you were really good at it. And if you'd have done this, then you could have had that." And it was kind of like, well, nobody ever told me. So where are we learning all this wonderful stuff from? Our parents. We learn that you eat in front of the TV. We learn our role models from TikTok, from watching Facebook, reading Facebook, social media. And we wonder how they have all these great bodies, but do we ever ask them? Do we tell them, do we inquire? No. Are you kidding me? Well, here's the whole thing, that we need to start learning about these areas because they are definitely impacting our well-being. If we have high blood pressure, we're going to be taking medicine that causes dysfunctionality in the bedroom. If we have diabetes, it's going to have medicine that gives us dysfunctionality in the bedroom. It's going to kill our vitality. It's going to kill our ability to go out and get exercise. Well, come on, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun, but realize that the definition of metabolic syndrome is nothing more than prediabetes, overweight, skin disease, you feel terrible. Cardiovascular disease is the next step. Yay! Arthritis, kidney disease, kidney malfunction, schizophrenia, and some types of cancer. All right, now, what are the symptoms that help you know that you're getting to a metabolic syndrome? It's pretty easy. You can't fit into that booth in the restaurant. You have to get a table. You can't fit in the car seat. You can't fit in to the movie theater chair. You can't see your genitals. You can't trim your toenails. You eat emotionally. You lack movement. So, what do we need to do? It's easy. This is the amazing thing. We just need to get exercise. Do we need to do 30 minutes stretch of exercise? No. You can do 10 here. You can do 5 here. You can do 3 here. Park in the farthest back lot. Wait a minute. Don't even take your car. If it's a mile away, walk. Yeah, it'll take 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, you just nailed it. You know this thing about, 10,000 steps a day? I'll tell you, I don't know if I make 10,000 steps a day, but I'm pretty sure that I am over 1,000. I can guarantee that. But the point is that just movement. You know, when I'm cooking dinner, I'm moving. You know, I'm rocking back and forth, I'm dancing, I'm listening to music, I'm standing on one foot, I'm standing on the other foot, and I'm doing stuff that 3-year-olds do. Now, how do I know that? Because I watch 3-year-olds. So, we want to make sure that what we're doing is just movement. I mean, the fact that, if we're just sitting there in a chair just watching, we're going to freeze up. It's kind of like, have you ever driven in a car for 4 hours and then gotten out of the car and it was like, oh my gosh, stuff is starting to freeze up. Well, what we want to do about movement is, if you have groceries, take one bag, walk that bag into the house, go back for the next bag. Grab the next bag, go in, put it down, get the next bag, go back out. The reason is the more steps you take, the better off you're going to be. All right, stand at your desk. Instead of making a phone call to the cubicle next to you, get out of your chair and walk around. Go, instead of hitting the button for the elevator, walk up. Now, I'm not a big proponent of that, and I understand that gravity is really tough, but you can once you're up, you can take those stairs down. Have gravity help you. So, the whole thing is that if we reduce 7% of our body weight, we can get off of insulin and reduce our blood pressure. We can get more blood flow to our crotch. We can start really understanding and feeling better. There are some thyroid issues and there are some metabolic issues where you can't lose a lot of weight, but the whole point of it is that if we stop eating fast food, if we stop eating while we're distracted, if we reduce the high fats, if we get into a Mediterranean diet, if we emphasize eating fruits and vegetables and high fiber and stuff that really tastes great, and get rid of all the sugary beverages, and that includes that cup of coffee with the creamer and the sugar, and also salt and alcohol, and getting rid of a lot of fat in your diet. The difference is red meat. Don't get hamburger because it's got a lot of fat in it. And the other thing is to stop smoking. Giving up cigarettes is just an amazing thing. And it's not the actual smoking part, it's all the chemicals that are associated with that cigarette. So when we talk about managing stress, and these are all the things that you need to do to get rid of that metabolic syndrome. I'm shooting you straight. And when you get rid of metabolic syndrome, what do you got? You got vitality. You got strength. You've got a drive. You've got a higher level of activity, if you know what I mean. And so how do we get rid of stress? Well, physical activity. I purposely go and lift weights and take yoga and walk in order to meditate while I am doing this, because I need to reduce my stress. I need to start getting a handle on anger and frustration, and it helps with my health. So let me hear your comments. I'm talking about the same stuff pretty much throughout most of the videos, and it's just about getting up and moving. And getting up and moving is going to make your life so much better. You don't know what to do? Well, pick up a hobby. Bingo! It's going to cause you to start moving. So go ahead, comment. Let me know how you feel. What would you like to have support in? I have no problem talking to you and giving you a free consultant and making sure that your life is on the right road. I look forward to talking to you. You have a great day.